Good morning, everybody. I'd like to convene the meeting. Mrs. Do we have any public speakers, Ms. Pescon?
Good morning. We have 3 members of the public registered to speak today. As a reminder, we ask that all speakers adhere to the MTA's rules of conduct and decorum. I would also like to remind our speakers that in the interest of time and fairness to all speakers, we limit everyone to 2 minutes. Please be aware of the clock in the front of the room and the warning light you will see reminding you that you have 30 seconds left to conclude your remarks. The first speaker will be Alita Dupree. Following will be Murray Bowden, followed by Matthew Bucas Highland.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair David Mack. Alita Dupree for the record, she and her with Team Folds. Going to talk about bridges and tunnels today. It's good to be here in person. I'm guessing we're getting going with the congestion pricing because I was on Columbus Circle yesterday and I saw this apparatus over the street with some kind of scanning thing, and I said, okay, I guess that's what it looks like. Haven't gotten to do any bridges and tunnels yet. I need to figure out some bus routes so I can practice doing your bridges and tunnels like I have been on the NJ Transit, because I want to revisit that. But I've been out in Manhattan on buses and walking along big streets like 34th and 23rd. And a short sentence came into mind. We need congestion pricing now. There's so much traffic and gridlock on some of these streets that it does interfere with me as a pedestrian. So I'm looking forward to the progress in building these new scanning devices for congestion pricing. They kind of look like the ones at the Lincoln Tunnel, I guess. But I certainly would like to see a dashboard about this. But how can we get more people interested in bridges and tunnels, especially those of us who don't have cars? I have to be intentional about it. But I hope by the next time I see you, whether I'm here on Zoom, I'll get on one of the express buses and get to enjoy bridges and tunnels again. We need congestion pricing now. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Murray Bowden, followed by Matthew Bucas Highland.
Joe, could you take this up and give it to Kathy, please? Thanks. Good morning, Dave. Good morning, Kathy. Good morning, everybody. This is the last time I'll be speaking here. It's time for me to move on. No, you can give that to Kathy right now. Kathy, this is your card from when you were at the New York State Thruway. I'm going through my things, and I wanted you to have it, so she won't bring it up.
Thank you, Murray.
Actually, this is something you taught me. My presentation is about Maui. You all know what happened at Maui, and it's just one of a number of disasters that's been happening lately where people knew something was wrong and they didn't fix it. I'm putting you on notice. I guess, Dave, this is your responsibility, because if Kathy's team doesn't do it, I'm going to ask you to replace Kathy and her team. The lines on the Henry Hudson Bridge at the top, I've sent you pictures. They're wrong. They're illegal, and they have been for 30, 40 years. It's time to fix them. In Maui, they were told there's a disaster coming, change the way you do things. They didn't. There's been a half a dozen tragedies lately where people have been notified to do things, and they didn't fix them. It's your responsibility to have your team repaint that line on the top of the Henry Hudson Bridge. You have the picture. If you need more information, I'll be glad to meet with you one-on-one. I'll come down and show you. But it's time those incorrect, illegal lines were corrected. Your team is responsible.
Please conclude your remarks.
Thank
We're going
you
to let
all.
him
It's been a pleasure.
speak his mind.
I will never see you again. I've learned a lot. It's time to pass the generations to the other people standing here.
Thank you. The next speaker is Matthew Bucas Highland.
Could you
Sure.
have him wait? Maury, I guess my 30 years here on and off, you've done a great service alerting us to different things. I congratulate you. Move on. Good health. And thank you for your input.
Oh, can I begin? Okay. Can
Time's
everyone hear me?
over, and I'm leaving. People here taking over. They're capable. Good luck to you all. I thank everybody at this organization. They've been so nice to me. I can't thank you all personally, but you've been wonderful.
Thank you. The next speaker is Matthew Bucas Highland.
Thank you, Ms. Pascone. Good morning, everyone. I would first like to thank, Chairman Mack and President Sheridan for their cooperation for today. This is my first time speaking at the MTA board meeting for the Bridges and Tunnels for the Triborough Bridge Tunnel Authority. One of your pages, for example, on page 16, on the preliminary data, is that, hold on, what is that? Is that estimated for traffic? So when it's told by mail, for example, because I know there's cameras up there, and does it take a photo and then it counts as one thing? Because it says 27 million. Does that mean it starts at midnight on the month on the 1st and then ends at 11:59 p.m. on the 30th or 31st? I would hope you would consider that. And I always wanted to meet Mr. Chairman David Mack. Good job for you, man. God bless you, and may God bless each and every one of you. Ms. Pascone, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, that concludes the public comment.
We don't have a quorum today, so we're going to pass on the approval of the minutes. I'd like to call on our chair, Woman Kathy Sheridan, and we're glad to see how well she's doing. Okay.
Thank you, Chair Mack, and good morning. There are no changes to the work plan, and I'd like to note the second quarter diversity report for Bridges and Tunnels, which appears on page 68 of the committee book, will be discussed at the Diversity Committee later today. Last Monday, we marked the 22nd anniversary of the 9/11 World Trade Center attacks. Like our sister MTA agencies, B&T was deeply engaged and impacted by the events of that day and its aftermath. Many among our current team were on the job then and remember it vividly, especially those on duty at the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, since renamed the Hugh L. Carey Tunnel. As you see in the image on screen, the towers of light preside over the tunnel's Manhattan portal. It's a somber anniversary, but one that is always remembered with quiet tribute by B&T. The approach of fall is signaled by back to school and return to work, as many make the transition from summer vacation mode. B&T personnel are familiar and experienced with this seasonal shift and its impact on traffic patterns as weekday volume historically ticks up. The high point of coastal storm and hurricane season is also topmost of mind, especially for our employees in the field who manage our facilities. As always, the team remains attentive and vigilant, monitoring conditions and pivoting as necessary to familiar and new conditions with safety as the priority. In addition, our agency continues to focus on the protection and recovery of toll revenue, maintaining a strong interdepartmental approach to the pursuit of persistent toll violators, and making sure everyone pays their fair share. B&T was proud to join other state agencies recently, representing the MTA for the first time at the New York State Fair in Syracuse. It was a rewarding experience in many ways, as employees interacted with visitors who may have had only passing awareness of B&T's crossings or the MTA in general. I'm hopeful that the positive exposure resulting from this initial participation laid the groundwork for future and more MTA agency representation at this widely attended event. The opportunities for job recruitment and raising awareness of travel options for visitors to the MTA service area are just two examples of the value gained by fair presence. In addition, we educated attendees on EasyPass and the Tolls NY app. Earlier this month, B&T hosted a safety and employee appreciation picnic on Randall's Island in tandem with our ongoing 90th anniversary celebration. The weather was hot, but the mood was festive, as employees from all departments, including our MTA consolidated business partners, gathered for pertinent safety messages, food, fun, and comradeship. We even had a fair number of retirees join us, which attests to the family-like culture of our agency. Today's committee meeting will continue our 90th anniversary theme with a then and now presentation by each department head. I'll now turn it over to Joyce Brown, our Chief Equal Opportunity Officer.
Thank you, Kathy. For MTA Bridges and Tunnels, creating a diverse workforce starts at the top and is at the heart of who we are as stated in our organizational core values and strategic and its priorities. As Chief EO Officer for Bridges and Tunnels, I am proud to report that we have made significant advances in creating a diverse executive leadership team. First, let's take a look back at a snapshot of the agency's executive leadership in the late 1960s. While these gentlemen were certainly accomplished and achieved much during their long tenures, I am now especially pleased to move forward to more than 5 decades to the present to show you a comparison of where we are today and the significant strides we have made to diversify our workforce. As you can see, B&T current executive leadership team consists of 8 executives, of which women represent 50%, minorities represent 38%, and veterans represent 25%. Please be reminded that diversity is more than just having the right ratio or checking a box. It's about creating a culture where employees have an opportunities to have a seat at the table and to be heard and respected. During President Sheridan's short tenure, she has shown her unwavering commitment to building a team with distinct values, backgrounds, perspectives, and skills that's representative of the community in which we serve. Unless you have questions for me, I'm going to turn it over to Vice President of ITS Towing and Operation, Nicola Angel.
Thank you, Joyce. Good morning. Not only have we diversified our workforce, but we've also brought in toll collection methods over the years. The Intelligent Transportation Systems and Tolling Department, otherwise known as ITST, has historically been responsible for maintaining the authority's toll collection systems and back office operations. Beginning in 1936 and for decades after, cash and tokens were the main means of toll payment across our facilities. This archive photo of the old Queens Midtown Tunnel Money Room depicts the daily process of counting coins and tokens collected from each facility's toll booths. To keep up with industry changes, B&T was at the forefront of adjusting the way toll collection was shifting. In 1994, 7 authorities from New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania agreed to use the same standard device to allow for electronic toll collection. In 1995, we implemented electronic toll collection at Verrazano Narrows Bridge in a single dedicated lane with a purple sign and a new slogan, EasyPass. Since then, it has become the dominant payment choice of our customers with a greater than 90% market share. EasyPass has also expanded regionally. The founding tolling authorities became EasyPass Interagency Group with now 39 tolling agencies and companies across 19 states from Maine to Florida and as far west as Minnesota. EasyPass's cultural impact was also notable. In 2011, Easy Pass was included in Fortune magazine's 100 Greatest Things About America, a list that also included the game show Jeopardy, the Grand Canyon, and Duct Tape. Indeed, all very good company. In October 2016, it was announced that toll booths would be eliminated at all B&T facilities by the end of 2017. It was an extraordinary challenge to transform the toll collection model of the largest toll agency in the United States in such an ambitious timeframe. By September 2017, the full transition to an open road tolling or ORT environment was complete. Toll collection in an open road nonstop environment propelled B&T to consecutive record-breaking crossings, with 2023 anticipated to be another record year. We are never done making toll system and collection improvements. So please, stay tuned for exciting future developments regarding the Tolls New York app and the continued expansion of Easy Pass. Thank you, and unless there are any questions, I'll turn it over to Vice President and Chief Security Officer Don Look.
Thank you, Nicola, and good morning. In 1975, TBTA created a new division, Internal Affairs, and now known as the Internal Security Department, to investigate and implement measures to protect the toll revenue collection process. A robust system of cameras was installed at each facility, recording every step of the process until the money was collected, was sent in an armored vehicle for bank deposit. With the transition to Easy Pass and open road tolling, ISD has refocused our efforts to physical security and internal affairs. For many years, physical security and traffic monitoring at our tunnels was done by uniformed officers who were assigned to post inside the tunnel, in booths positioned along the catwalks, as you can see in this 1970 photo of the Queens Midtown Tunnel. Over time, cameras were installed throughout the facilities, freeing up our officers for deployment to other duties. Presently, ISD utilizes technology-based cameras operating on an integrated platform that allows for agency-wide security monitoring at every facility, our Operations Command and Control Center, and ISD's Security Operations Center. In addition to our extensive camera program, we monitor the facilities utilizing intrusion detection solutions. ISD is incorporating artificial intelligence into our monitoring program through the integration of video analytics and other emerging technologies. This solution integrates directly into our electronic security system and alerts our first responders to security breaches and incidents that traditional sensors and human monitoring may not detect. If there are no questions, I'll turn it over to Vice President and Maintenance and Operations Support, Charlie Passarella.
Thank you, Don. Good morning. The Maintenance Department has always served as the backbone of our agency, providing care and upkeep, service and repairs, supplied vehicles, labor, and overall support across the agency. We are also forward-looking and evolving, staying ahead of the curve. We explore and test new methods or equipment that make sense and may help us perform better and more efficiently. The picture you see on screen is that of an original Elgin sweeper truck, 1945 era, that was used to keep our roadways clear of debris. While this sweeper performed well for its time and for the amount of traffic that crossed our roadways, you'll note that the driver is exposed to the elements without any protective gear or personal protective equipment, and he's not wearing a seatbelt or any kind of standard uniform clothing while performing his duties. As you can see in this next photo, we have continued to advance and improve the way we perform maintenance at our facilities. Our focus is now primarily on employee safety as well as advanced technologies for optimal roadway sweeping efficiency. Take note that the driver is now enclosed in a cab and protected from dust and debris while performing sweeping duties. He is, of course, belted in and wearing a regulation safety vest and standard maintainer uniform. The sweeper truck is equipped with arrow boards to clearly identify lane designation to motorists. In addition, the current sweepers are much more advanced and better at keeping our roadways clear of debris. There is increased capacity for debris storage, which equates to less downtime needed for emptying the box. And the nylon brushes mean less wear on roadway surface than the old steel versions. This next photo shows the Queens Midtown and Brooklyn Battery, now Hugh L. Carey tunnels, how they were cleaned back in the late 1950s. This was a laborious hands-on operation that took many hours and numerous maintenance personnel to complete a very challenging task, progressing on foot. The next picture shows our current tunnel brush truck in action at the Hugh L. Carey Tunnel. The first generation of this tunnel brush truck was designed in the year 2000 and has had numerous modifications since then to transform it to what it is today. It has reduced the required labor to a 3-person operation, which includes a tunnel rinse truck, and employees are safer for being inside the vehicles for the entire cleaning process. Both the Queens Midtown and Hugh L. Carey tunnels are washed daily, Monday through Friday on the overnight, rotating between the tubes to keep our tunnels in a good state of repair. Thank you, and if there are no questions, I will now turn it over to Vice President and Safety and Health, Eric Osnes.
Thank you, Charlie, and good morning. Recognizing the importance of safeguarding the well-being of our employees has always been part of our culture. We've determined early on that integrating safety principles with business process would have a positive impact on both culture and operational efficiency. The historical record underscores language and practices that align base safety principles as a core value. Here is a poster from 1952 that was displayed at our facilities communicating to employees the importance of proper lifting techniques to reduce back injuries. Simple but clear. These early messages paved the way for continuous improvement underscored by the 1970 passage of the Occupational Safety and Health Act, or OSHA. Today's safety system is predicated on the dissection of job tasks to have adequate controls in place to address hazards identified and that employees are aware of the hazards they may encounter. For instance, spaces that can be entered but are not designed for continuous occupancy need to be assessed by management teams to provide that employees are aware and that the necessary controls are implemented upon entry. While general signage is effective, risk-based specific signage is key to ensuring our employees work safely. The use of personal protective equipment is now part of normal business practices. This picture, taken during the construction of the Verrazano Narrows Bridge in the early 1960s, underscores a very different culture from today. Today, if an individual is exposed to a fall, harnesses are used with determined tie-off points to arrest the fall, as you can see from this photo of a maintenance working safely while wearing fall arrest equipment. Management employees are fully engaged and integral to safety promotion. We participate, analyze, and prioritize safety as a pillar to reducing workplace accidents. This photo depicts leadership addressing a roadway maintenance crew on the increased incidence of distracted driving and the baseline principles of setting a work zone to mitigate risks associated with work zone intrusion due to impaired or distracted driving. From the beginning, B&T laid the foundation of a positive safety culture. We as an organization have evolved to further integrate safety into business processes, analyzing jobs, fostering greater awareness, ultimately providing for a safer workplace. It's about getting the job done and getting it done safely. Thank you, and if there are no questions, I'll turn it over to our Vice President, Chief of Operations, Mr. Rich Hildebrand.
Thank you, Mr. Eric Osnes. For the past 90 years, Bridge and Tunnel Operations Department has embraced the motto of "We do it all." Starting out as the entity responsible for toll collection and the safe and efficient movement of traffic across and through our 9 facilities, the Operations Department has always been willing and able to change with the times. One of the biggest changes to the Operations Department arrived on May 31st, 1974, when New York Governor Malcolm Wilson signed into law a bill granting peace officer status to the uniformed members of the Tri-Borough Bridge and Tunnel Authority workforce. This was a huge step forward for the agency that could now better secure its facilities, improve overall safety, and protect revenue that was collected. Operations employees have kept our facilities open to customers through major construction projects and ongoing improvements, following the 9/11 World Trade Center attacks, recovering from the devastation of Superstorm Sandy and major snowstorms, evolving from cash toll collection to the introduction of Easy Pass, to the demolition of toll booths and the conversion to open road tolling, and most recently, weathering the COVID-19 pandemic, keeping our employees and customers safe while maintaining service for essential workers and others using our facilities. Patrol vehicles from then and now, displayed on screen, underscore how we've evolved to better equip our officers with new technology and other tools to perform their duties, including the enforcement of toll evasion on our facilities. The variety of license plate readers has aided our team in targeting persistent toll violators with greater speed and accuracy. All members of the Operations Department look forward to the next 10 years as we approach our centennial, but we see beyond that milestone and look to the future for what advances may help us improve our safety, reliability, and the overall customer experience. I'm proud of each and every employee who works in operations and in TBTA, and I'm honored to be able to represent everyone here today. Thank you, and unless there are questions, this concludes our presentation.
Are there any questions? Okay. Thank you, Rich, and to all of our department heads. And an additional thanks to our special archive team for providing these great photos from years past. As we embark on our next 90 years, we'll continue to implement strategies for improvement to keep our facilities safe and secure and keep our customers moving. Finally, there are no procurements this month, and if there are no further questions, this concludes B&T's committee report.
I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge your speedy recovery and your availability, even though you had that operation on your hip. We thank you. And of course, congratulations, Kathy, for the good work that you've put in for bridges and tunnels. I travel it 2 or 3 times a day, back and forth. If there are no other questions from any members, we should have a recommendation to adjourn. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. We're adjourned.
Thank you, everybody. Okay.